guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about vocabulary tips. I'm going to mention a few things that have helped me along the way in order to learn languages. For the most part, I've learned languages by acquiring a lot of vocabulary. So I think that vocabulary learning is basically one of the fundamental skills of learning a language. And I wish to impart on you a few things that I have discovered or noticed that have really helped me in terms of my journey. First, I'm gonna talk about how you can become very aware of your mistakes so that you don't repeat them. After that, I'm going to give you 2 resources that can improve your vocabulary. These resources are for words that you probably won't learn at school. So the first one has to do a lot more with slang, and the second one has to do with covering all of your bases. And what I mean by that is that you learn the names of basic things, from kitchen utensils to clothing items to the different names of animal species. And finally, I'm going to give you a little tip for you to start converting your passive vocabulary into active vocabulary more efficiently. So if you would like to hear about any of these tips, please continue watching the video. Before I start the video, I do want to thank Xeropan for sponsoring this video. Xeropan is a language learning app to learn English, although they are adding German, Spanish, and French soon, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. What I think that is super freaking innovative about this app is that they use bots so that you can have actual conversations. I literally had a pretend doctor's appointment and I was able to talk about a myriad of things. So I want to do a little bit of a review and actually show you what I experienced using the app so that you guys can see it for yourselves. So the first thing that I want to show you is that there are levels ranging from beginner all the way to C1, and each of the levels basically drills you on a bunch of lessons. Now, what I think it's very interesting and what I really find special about this is that you also have a grammar guide that goes along with the drills. So often, like for example on Duolingo, you drill the grammar but you never get it explained to you in depth. So I really like that this has kind of like a mini definition or instruction of each single grammar point. Aside from that, what I am really excited about is to show you the conversation that I had with the robot doctor. So let me show you.
I play golf on the weekend and go to the gym some days. You can never be too old for sport. What kind of exercise do you do?
I lift weights.
Keep up the good work, Karen. I think I'm a little old for strength training. I heard it's very intense and demanding on the body and mind. I'm assuming that you drink enough water, since you're perspiring so much due to a lot of exercise. Drinking at least 8 glasses of water is how you can stay healthy. How much water do you tend to drink every day?
I tend to drink about 8 glasses of water a day.
That's very good, Karen. It's a healthy amount of water, but don't forget that during the summer, you might need even more than that. We all know how important it is to sleep well. Try to get 7 or 8 hours for maximum energy and vitality. So tell me, do you sleep enough? There are definitely other drills in terms of speaking practice. You can go to the mall and buy clothes. You can introduce yourself to a new friend. You can go to a party and talk to a person. And you can basically get all the speaking practice that you need. So if you like what you saw, I will be leaving the link to Xeropan in the description down below. And now let's go back to the video. One of the things that you can do to correct your mistakes is to be completely aware of them. And this means writing them down. I know that it sounds a little bit counterintuitive because you don't want to reinforce the mistakes by writing them down, but hear me out. When I was in college and I would get my French essays back, my teachers would usually edit my paper and tell me what I wrote wrong. So I had a cheat sheet of mistakes that I frequently made, and it was my way to kind of like get a better grade next time, because the only thing that I had to do was to look at my sheet of mistakes if I had made any of my past mistakes on my current essay, and then I just had to correct them before I handed it in to the professor. Having a cheat sheet of mistakes that reminded me what mistakes I was making ultimately was the way that I learned what my mistakes were, and the next time that I wrote my essay, even though perhaps I didn't know exactly how to phrase something correctly, I knew how not to phrase it. So I think it's important to be aware of one's mistakes, and I think that it 100% helped me to improve my written French. You can use the cheat sheet in any context. It doesn't only have to be for written mistakes, it can be for oral mistakes as well. I haven't actually tried that, but I am going to be going abroad pretty soon, and I'm very excited because I thought about having kind of like a cheat sheet of mistakes, or like a small tiny little book where I keep all of my mistakes, and then I ask native speakers that I'm going to be in contact with every day, how do you say this, how do you say that? Point is that I think the cheat sheet is going to give you the opportunity to question yourself. Although you might obviously not get the correct answer from you looking at your mistake sheet, you're at least going to think twice before you write your mistake again, because you know that it is completely wrong, so you're going to question it, and eventually you're going to find the right answer or the right way to phrase something. Secondly, I want to show you two amazing sources where you can get vocabulary. So the first one is a picture dictionary. I picked up this about last year, and mind you, I've been learning French for over 10 years. I flipped through it and I saw a lot of things that I didn't know how to say in French, like for example, cleaning stuff, because obviously in my classes we don't learn about this, but it is useful if you do want to get to the level of native speaker, which I do. So going over books like this is a little bit tedious, but if you learn 10 of these words every single day and you make your vocabulary list by using this book, I think that it's going to be a little bit more manageable, and you're going to learn how to say a lot of things that a lot of native speakers know how to say. So it's a great and amazing resource, and I thoroughly recommend it. They have this exact book in many different languages, translated to English, so if you want to get hold of this, I will put the link to it in the description down below. And the second and very unexpected place where you can get your vocabulary to write down your vocabulary list, especially if you want to learn slang, is Instagram. Over the past few days, I actually was suggested a lot of French accounts on Instagram, and a lot of those accounts had native speakers talking about how to use slang. I'm not sure if this is available in other languages, but for some reason there's just a bunch of accounts that will teach you French slang. So if you're interested in French slang, by all means head to Instagram. I will be putting obviously the accounts that I found here, but also in the description down below if you're interested, because they are also great resources for you guys to have or hear from the mouth of a native speaker how to use slang, right? And how to pronounce it, which they also do that. So I think that that is also an amazing resource that you can take advantage of. Finally, guys, my mini tip for converting part of your passive vocabulary into your active vocabulary is to use sample sentences. Sample sentences help you contextualize a word, and helping you contextualize a word makes you understand the nuance of the word a little bit better, because you have to research a little bit how you can integrate a word into a sentence. So there are several ways that you can start using sample sentences. Usually I just put the sample sentence right next to the word on my vocabulary list. And the way I do this is by copying the sample sentence from word reference. Word reference always gives you a sample sentence if you look any word at all. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is this way that I explained in this video. It's a little bit more complicated, but basically what I do is that I take all of the words that I'm having difficulty with and I put them in a column in a Word document, and then I use all of them as a word bank in order to create a very meaty paragraph of words that I don't understand, right? And the way this helps me is that I can see them in the context of a story, and that helps me understand the nuance of all of these difficult words a little better. Obviously, I use the help of Google Translate, several, forums in order to understand the words better, and I do kind of like have to go very in-depth into my research of really understanding the nuance and the complexities and the definitions, the several different definitions. If a word has more definitions, in order to create those paragraphs. But there is a way to do it. I promise you, even if you are having difficulty understanding what the words really mean. So that's all, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. As I said, I'm going to be going abroad pretty soon, and I'm very excited for that. Obviously, all precautions taken. I'm a very careful person, and the program I'm going to is hyper aware of the, what's going on. So yeah, I'm just going to be making a lot of videos in French, hopefully telling you about my experience in Paris. And my camera died, but I will be back with you next week with a video with something related to France. Let me know what you would like to see in the video, if anything at all, in the comments. Bye, guys.